Hey guys, this is the Best Irish Cheese, and today I've got a fun game for you. Every time you hit the like button, subscribe, or share this video, you should take a drink. It's the ultimate drinking game. If you subscribe to either me or Golden Voices Gaming, or someone like Rails, or Senior Snuff, or the Great Stefan, you should take a drink. Every time, it'll be super fun. Every time you get a friend, you take a drink. You should totally do it. And yeah, this is totally not motivated by anything else. It's just a fun game. And if alcohol's not your thing, you can always drink an Arizona iced tea. Those are even better. Those are delicious, and they're a lot cheaper. You could probably buy like 15 of those for the cost you would for one beer anyway. So it's a win-win, really. I mean, you subscribe, you like, and you favorite, all of a sudden you've just got a stash of iced tea. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want to do this. Anyway, I suppose I should start the topic. But just a quick warning, I haven't been sleeping well, and I've been sick, so I've been pretty stuffed up. I couldn't really sleep well, not because I was sick. I've actually been sleeping pretty well considering that. But I think I heard some gunshots going off a couple of days ago at like 2 a.m. in the morning. So I had to call the cops, so I couldn't sleep all night thinking about that, honestly. So I'll be a little odd. So I'll talk about today, I'll tell you about my life. I grew up, I've been homeschooled my whole life. I graduated sort of when I was 17. So I got done a little early, but it was actually only like 6 months early. Somehow I managed to get like a 6 months early rather than a year early. Because of the way things worked out, it was very awkward and unusual. I was the 7th born and the youngest in my family, so I'm the baby. All my siblings are full-blooded. None of us are half brothers or half sisters. I've got 4 brothers and 2 sisters. And my parents have been married for over 30 years, and I am about 19 years old. Most of my grandparents are dead. My dad's mother died when I was about 4 years old, almost 5. Which, man, it feels like forever ago. I'm honestly amazed I still remember her, bless her heart. I have some of the fondest memories of being around her, and I was still young, so I was a troublemaker. So, I remember one time, I think she was doing her taxes, and she was playing around on this calculator, or at least it seemed like she was to me. I said, "Can I push a button on it?" She said, "No." And a couple minutes later, she got up to go do something, and I went over and pushed the button, and all I remember is her screaming, "No!" So that's one of the more humorous stories. We have had several pets, including birds and cats. I've never had a dog. But the strangest pet we ever had was a ferret. This ferret by far was the strangest thing I'd ever seen in a house. It was like a giant, long, fuzzy, tube-shaped rat. Literally, the first year we had him, all I did was call him Tube Rat. And I can remember one time he actually somehow managed to get a bar of soap under a dresser, and he started eating it. And he started throwing up, and we couldn't figure out why. We moved the dresser because he always put stuff under there. We wanted to see what's he been doing. And it turns out he ate a third of a bar of soap. He also liked to steal lots of jewelry, and he would try and grab gourds, which weighed more than him, and he'd drag them with his teeth, and his head would be hanging outside, and he'd be trying to bring them off the stairs. He would do the same with empty milk cartons too. Very adorable to watch him try. More on to what makes me like me. As a child, apparently I found this out a little while ago, probably 3 years ago. I was born with a heart murmur. I guess that problem sort of resolved itself. I was also born cross-eyed. I could not see anything. Like, I would run into walls and fall down stairs regularly, like daily, hourly even. And eventually I had 2 surgeries to correct my eyesight. And now I see pretty well, except for my left eye, which has an astigmatism. And that's still very hard to see out of, but I do have my right eye, which is decent. So I'm just glad to be able to see anything at all. Especially since the doctors said I'd be blind by the time I was 18. And I am 19 now, so I'm thinking I could probably sue them for malpractice. What do you guys think? I also had kind of a tight tongue, I guess. I've never really heard of anyone else having this problem. As a kid, my tongue, the skin was in my mouth. It wasn't really loose enough. It was too attached to the jaw on the lower part. I guess it was too long, and I couldn't swallow or speak because of it. And they actually burned it off with a laser. I don't remember that. That was when I was real little. My dad wasn't around much when we were kids because he was always writing in his office and he was at work a lot, and we didn't have very much money. It was kind of cold in our house during the winter. It was an older house. We didn't have any AC except for my parents' room. We all had fans at least, and we didn't have very many expensive things. We had this old Nintendo from the 80s that was our uncle's, who was divorced from our aunt, so we never saw him again, and I still have it under my bed right now. It wasn't until years later that my brother got an Xbox and I started playing Halo, which was awesome. My favorite video games would be Halo 1, Star Wars Battlefront, that was great, and Age of Empires 2, the Conqueror's Edition, so those were all great. I also played a lot of The Sims when I was younger. My favorite TV shows, when I was younger I used to love The Simpsons, but now I'm older I don't really care much for it. It's kind of changed quite a bit from what it was like when I was younger. And my favorite sitcom would have to be Friends, and I was one of those freaks that was obsessed with Lost, and I love 24 of course, so those are some of my favorite television shows. Music, I could give you a list, maybe I will someday, there's too much to name offhand, but I guess my favorite bands would be like the Goo Goo Dolls and the Beatles and 30 Seconds to Mars and stuff like that. And the only instrument that I've ever been able to play was the drums, and I haven't played that much lately. I tried playing the guitar when I was real little and that just did not work out. It was kind of a train wreck. I live in Western New York, always have. Conservative, Christian, my dad's a pastor, and I've been homeschooled my whole life. So that's pretty much my life in a nutshell. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe and like, favorite, and please give the word out about Best Irish Cheese, that's my channel, and Golden Voices Gaming. I would really appreciate you guys subscribing and telling your friends about it. Thank you. Bye.